How you doing there? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Yud. Yeah. Studying Daf Yud. Daf 10 of Masechta Sanhedrin. Bava Sanhedrin. No, just Sanhedrin. Okay. We're going to first learn about Makis, and then we are going to transition into let's just say Kiddush HaChodesh, like Ibur HaChodesh, Ibur Hashana kind of stuff, and that we're gonna stick with that for a few daf now. I think all the way until maybe even Yud Dalet Amud Beis or something. Like we're gonna be on like Kiddush HaChodesh kind of stuff, Ibur Hashana, that kind of stuff for a few days. It's gonna get a little bit detailed. I think I'll upon him. All right. So we're going to start on Daf Yud Amud Aleph, about, I'd say maybe 40% of the way into the Amud. Okay. Yud Amud Aleph, Makis Bishlosha V'chulei. So the Mishnah had said that Makis are with three. Right? It was machlekes between, I think it was just the Tanakama and Rabbi Shmuel. Let me just confirm. Oh, come on. Hurry up. Let's go. What's it? Okay. Makis bishloshe, mishum bishmalam besim bishloshe. Okay. So machlekes Tanakama Rabbi Shmuel about is Makis with 3 judges or 23 judges. We are going to start with the Tanakama's opinion. 3 judges. How do we know this? Amar Ravuna, Amar Kra. Says Ravuna that the pasuk says ushvatum. That the pasuk says, when there is a fight between the people, they come to Bezdin, ushvatum, and Bezdin judges them. Now, judges them is plural. 2. And then the next pasuk is Vayim bin Akos Harasha. So this is in the context of Makis, okay? And it says ushvatum. Ushvatum is plural. Shnaim, 2. Then Bezdin shakol. And of course, you can't have a even number in a Bezdin. So they add Nocha judge and 3 judges for Makis. Harikan Shosha, that's 3. Elameata, but frek the Gemara. V'etztiku shnaim v'shiru shnaim. Harikan Shiva. Ho, frek the Gemara. But if you give an honest look at the pasuk, it says Ushvatum, fine. But then the pasuk continues V'etztiku es atzadik v'yeshu es arasha. Hitztiku is oichid plural. V'yeshu is ochid plural. So we should have 2 plus 2 plus 2, 6. Ein Bezdin shakol should be 7, not 3. So again, Elamiata v'tzdiku shnaim, v'yeshiu shnaim. Harikan shiva, we should be talking about 7, not 3. Hahumi boile kide ula. No, v'tzdiku es atzadik, v'yeshiu es aroshe is for the following teaching of ula. To Ula that says ula remiz leidim zomim min ateirim minayin. How do we know an allusion in the Torah for Eidim Zomim? Now, some of the sharp minds at Babylon Talmud might be thinking, Remez Eidim Zomim, an allusion, a hint to Eidim Zomim? What do you mean a hint? It's explicit. There's a halacha in the Torah, a pasuk in the Torah, Vasisem lo kasher zomim lasos lochim. The pasuk, it says kasher zomim, Eidim Zomim is not hinted. It's explicitly written. What do you mean a hint? El remez Eidim Zomim shelokin minayin. Where's a hint? Where's an allusion to the fact that Eidim Zomim get makis? What do you mean they get makis? Eidim Zomim, Vasisem lo kasher zomim lasos lochim. If you do to them whatever they tried to do to other people, right? We were learning about this yesterday, right? For example, you have Eidim Zomim by Motzi Shemra, so they were trying to kill her, we kill them. So what does that have to do with makis? Well, it's talking about a scenario where the Eidim Zomim are testifying about something that isn't really punishable in the inverse. For example, if they testify about so-and-so that he's a chalal, he's a ben grusha, ben chalutza. So even if the Eidim Zomim themselves are kehanim, we don't say, okay, well, we're going to make you a ben grusha, ben chalutza. We don't do that. Instead, we just give them makis. We don't use our words. We don't keep our hands to ourselves. We hit. That's what we do. Now the Remez Eidim, I guess sometimes you don't use your words. Sometimes you don't keep your hands to yourself. Sometimes you hit. So the Remez Eidim Zomim shalokim minayin. So where's an allusion to the fact that there are scenarios where basically if we can't do Vasisim lo kasher zomam, right, we can't make them cholos, so therefore we hit them. The Pasuk says, V'tztiku es ha-tzadik v'shiru es ha-roshe, that they're going to make the tzaddik a tzaddik and the rasha the rasha. Mishum v'tztiku es ha-tzadik v'shiru es ha-roshe v'ayim bin akos ha-roshe v'ekti gemara. I don't understand. The Pasuk says, V'tztiku es ha-tzadik v'shiru es ha-roshe. The Pasuk says, and then the next Pasuk, the very following Pasuk says, V'im bin akos ha-roshe. If we hit him. So, well, I don't understand. Because they made the tzaddik a tzaddik and the rasha a rasha, therefore we have to hit somebody. I don't know. So, Elo, Edim Sherishiu es ha-tzadik, rather it's talking about Edim Zomim. Witnesses who vilified a righteous fellow, who made him guilty, right? You said he did some terrible thing, or I guess in this case that he's a cholol. Vasu Ede Achrine, but then other witnesses came, V'tztiku es ha-tzadik d'mei kara, and they made the initial witnesses Edim Zomim, i.e., reinstating this kohen to be a kohen, not a cholol. V'shavinu lahanach r'shoyim. And so the kohen, the original kohen who was testified against falsely, he remains a tzaddik, he remains a kohen. Now the Edim Zomim, who falsely testified, they are now r'shoyim. Okay, so v'tztiku es ha-tzadik, right? They made the victim into a tzaddik. V'rishiu es ha-rasha, right? The evil false witnesses are made into just that, evil people. V'hoyo im bin hakis ha-rasha. And if we can't do to them, for example, by a cholol, so then we hit them. Or that the pasuk says, right, in the Seres HaDibros, lo sirtzach, lo sinaf, lo signov, lo saine v'achayit shaker. Don't be a false witness. So memele, I should know that Edim Zomim are liable to makis, because they're violating a lav. Lo saine v'achayit shaker. That's a lab, they should get makis. Yeah, but the thing is, it's just speech. It's not an action. And therefore, because is a lav, sure, but there's no action. It's speech, but that's not considered an action. And any lav that has no maise, ein lokin olav, there's no makis. We don't hit you for that. Azoy. Okay. So, from Ushvatum we learn out two judges by Makis, and then we add a third to make it not a number. In terms of V'tztikus ha-tzadik v'shirus ha-rasha, so then that's to teach about Edim Zomim that they get, that we hit them. Chaver, for some reason today, it reeks like gasoline for the past few hours already. I don't know why. So if I pass out in the middle of Babylon Talmud today, you know why. Alright. I don't know. I don't know where the gasoline's coming from. I've been out there so many times, like to check. I have no clue where the source of this gasoline leak is. It's super weird. We don't have any gasoline in here. Any gas would be on the other side of the house. But it's coming from the other side of the house. Super weird. Super weird. I don't get it. Hopefully it'll go away. Ich weiß nicht. Around here though, they don't really have just gas lines. You have those gas canisters. So I don't know if there's some kind of leak. Hopefully it'll canister will get empty at some point. I don't know. It's super weird. It reeks like gasoline. What if I light a match? What happens if you just light a match? Does the whole air explode? Oh my gosh. My time, Rabbi Shmuel. Why does Rabbi Shmuel say? My time, Rabbi Shmuel. Why does Rabbi Shmuel say that Makis is with 23 judges, not with 3 judges? Amar Abaye, so Machlekes Abaye and Ravi. Abaye hat gesagt, Osya Roshe Michayve Mises. Oh, is it Gzeir Shove? Oh, it's a Gzeir Shove. Ksivacha, it says by Makis, Vayim ben Hakis HaRoshe. Uchsevasam, and it says by Misa, by capital cases, Asher Rasha Lamus. Asher Rasha Lamus. Malahalim Be'esim V'Shlosha, just like, of course, a capital case is going to be with 23 judges. Afkan, Be'etzem b'shlosha. So Eichidu, here as well, by Makis, it says Rasha, and it's with 23 judges. Rava, Omer says Rava, Malkis b'makom misa omedes. That's a very, very, very interesting idea from Rava. And Rashi points out, it's nice having Rashi. Cheve, how's it having Rashi again? It's very nice, right? It also makes it easy to just like check up something quickly in Rashi. When there's a Rashbam, you can't really quickly check out a Rashbam. But it says the Rashi, 3 lines into where it gets wide, Malchus b'makom misa omedes, decheven da'avar al azharos bo ra'yu lamus. That a person who violates a sin of his creator, it's befitting that he should be killed, that he should die. Umisa zo konas olav akasuv, vareu ka'achas min amisos, etc. And in these instances, when you violate a lav, so we don't give you skila, we don't give you sreifa, hereg, chenik, we give you makis. It's kilu. If you violate navera, you should be liable to death. But in this case, we don't give you skila or any of the actual killing kind of things. We give you this instead. But it's still kilu, even though it's non-lethal. It's be'etzem treated as, in the same way that we think about and we treat the lethal ones. So Rav Omer Malkis b'makom misa omedes, that Malkis is be'etzem a stand-in for a capital punishment. And therefore, it's with 23 judges, just like the capital punishments are. If that is the case, that Malkis is really just like, another one of the Misa's Bezdin, just on its surface, apparently non-lethal, but umdullah lamali. Well, the thing is, when it comes to Makis, as we'll learn in Masechta Makis, right after Masechta Sanhedrin, so in about 100 days or so. So we learn in Masechta Makis that we evaluate how much the fellow can handle. Of course, by default, Makis is there's 39 lashes, but we evaluate how much can this guy handle. If he can only handle 15, so we give him 15. The thing is, if Makis is be'etzim another kind of Misa, okay, so it's a Misa that is capped at 39. But why not just keep on hitting him? What if he dies in the middle? Okay, he couldn't handle it. But Peseder, it's just, be'etzim is chayiv Misa. If he could survive it, he'll survive it. Fine. It's not like the other ones where I guess you have to actually make sure he's dead. But if he dies in the middle, why should we evaluate how much he can handle? Keep on hitting him. If he dies, he dies. If he survives, okay, so he survives. So why do we have to evaluate how much the bugger can handle? Just keep on hitting him. If he dies in the middle, azoy. Omar Kro, so Rashi responds because the pasuk says v'nikla achicha leinecha, that you give makis to your brother. Kilu, if you're giving 39 makis and halfway through the guy is gestorben, you're going to be beating a dead horse, kilu. But you have to beat your brother, not a dead horse. So therefore, he's got to be alive. So kimochis hagab lechaye mochis. You got to hit a live back. You got to hit a live back. What about the following brisa? Amdu lekabel esim. But what if they evaluate him? This guy can handle 20 hits. Azoy. So the number of makis that we give him has to be divisible by 3, because it's how come is that? Because you give him 2 hits behind and 1 hit below. That's I guess like a batch of hits. So 2 behind, 1 below. And two behind, one in the front. So okay, so therefore, since each kind of batch is of 3, so we need a number that is divisible by 3. So if he can handle 20, how many do we administer? 18. But why don't you hit him 21 times? Yeah, sure, he can't handle 21, he's going to die. Okay, but beseder. But when he can handle 20. So after the 20th one, he was mamish at his limit, but he's still alive. When you give him the makeh b'patish, when you give him the final 21st blow, and he ends up with the Achenu Beis Yisrael and Wellwood, so then But when you hit him though, he was still alive. So if we're saying v'nikla achicha be'enecha, you have to hit a live person. He was alive when you hit him. He died afterwards. Michimais ba'ach chada lemus. Let him die from the 21st blow. Because at the end of the day, when you hit him, you hit a guy who was alive. On my lay, so I assume it's Rav Ashi responds. On Mikra, the Pasuk says v'nikle achicha le'necha, that even after the makis, achar shalaka achicha beinu v'leka, even after the makis, it's important that he's still alive, and therefore we give him 18 makis instead of 20. That way, we'll know that he'll be alive after the makis are administered. We round down. Iber achodesh b'shloisha. A leap month is with 3 judges, right? We leap month with 3 judges. We have to understand exactly what about the leap month. Chishuv lo katani. So the Gemara points out the Mishnah does not say that we calculate. We do the cheshbonis to figure out if it should be a chodesh chaser or a chodesh mole with 3. It does not say that. Kiddush lo katani doesn't say that to declare mikudish is with 3 judges. It does not say that. Ela iber, to proclaim that the month is a chodesh mole, to proclaim that this is a full month. But why do we have to make such a proclamation? Kilu, I don't need that proclamation. Kilu, a regular month is 29 days. A full month is 30 days. So, if on day 30, i.e. the previous month of 29 days, day 30 they're saying Mekudesh, i.e. day 30 is actually day 1 of the next month. Okay, so I know that the previous one was a Chodesh Chaser. If on day 31 they're saying Mekudesh, which means that the previous day was 30 days. Okay, so we know that it was a Chodesh Mober. That it was a Chodesh Mali. Why do I need a separate proclamation to say this was a Chodesh Mali? Okay, I know it's a Chodesh Mali. If they say Mekudesh on day 31, so Memele, right, meaning day 31 is day 1 of the next month. Okay, so Memele, the previous month was a Chodesh Mali. Why do we have to make a separate proclamation? So Loli Kadsha, Umemele La'aber. That's a funny kind of phrase. I always have to keep on having to look it up. Well, what does Rashi say over there? Loli Kadsha B'Yom Shloshim, says Rashi, and kind of to the left of that. Umemele ki mikadshina leila mocher. Right, so don't be mekadesh it on day 30, which would be a Chodesh Chaser, because that would mean day 30 is the first day of the next month. And then, so long as on day 30 you were not mekadesh day 30 to be day 1 of the next month, so then, so memele, if they're being mekadesh Rosh Chodesh on day 31, then and day 31 is day 1 of the next month, so memele, the previous month had 30 days. The Yom Shloshim Basrei showed this that day 30 is from part of the previous month. So Kilu, I don't understand, Frekti Gemara, why do we need a separate proclamation to say that it is a leap month? Like Kilu, it's obvious. If the previous month at 30 days, it's a leap month. We don't need a separate proclamation. Azoy. So Omer Abai, says Abai, Tni Kiddush HaChodesh. Azoy. So Abai says, fine, change it. Azoy. Instead of saying Ibra HaChodesh B'Shlosha, Kiddush HaChodesh B'Shlosha. To say Mekudesh, you need 3 judges. Taranami Yochi learn in a Braise, very similar to our Mishnah, but instead of saying Ibra Chodesh V'Shlosha, it says Kiddush HaChodesh V'Ibra Ashana B'Shlosha. Divrei Meir, that according to Reb Meir, it's Kiddush HaChodesh as well as Ibra Ashana, to proclaim that the year is a leap year, because that actually needs a proclamation, right? So that the people know that there is a second other and that it's not Nisan, so that needs an actual proclamation. But we have a Braisa that Taka says that according to Reb Meir, Kiddush HaChodesh needs 3 judges. The Ibor Hashana B'Shlosha, as well as Ibor Hashana, making a leap year, needs 3 judges. The Reb Meir, that is the opinion of Reb Meir. Amar Ravit, this is very interesting. We've seen, this is not a new concept, but Amar Rava, also it's very common for Ravid to kind of be a stickler for the details, but on my Ravid ha Ibur Katoni. In fact, Ravid doesn't say in the Mishnah Kiddush HaChodesh B'Shlosha. It says Ibur HaChodesh B'Shlosha. Can't you say just teach Kiddush HaChodesh? And what's so interesting to me about it is Rashi says Va'ibur Katoni Derech Tane Toye Begirsa, that should you have a Tana, a teacher of Brises, or Mishnayos, in this case, who is making a mistake in their girsa, so a mistake would be L'chaser Teva, maybe you forgot a word. Aval ein nechlaf litana ben girsas kiddush legirsas ibur. You wouldn't make a mistake on key words like kiddush versus ibur. That they would, maybe you forgot this word, forgot that word. But not a sort of a core concept like Kiddush versus Ibor, because of course it was Torah Shabbat Peh, right? It wasn't written down. You would basically, it was a tradition. You would hear from your teacher, and then you pass it on. They had Tanas who would go and they would show up in the base of Medrash, and they would teach the Brises that they know. So they made a mistake. They forgot how to word, but such a core concept like Kiddush versus Ibor, that's not something that would mess up. And therefore, if the Mishnah says Ibor HaChodesh is Bishlosha, we have to figure out what role Ibor HaChodesh plays here. We can't just change it to Kiddush HaChodesh. Givaldik. So Ela my Rave rather says Rave Kiddush biyom Ibur Bishlosha. That if you are Mekadesh the Chodesh biyom Ibur, what's the Yom Ibur? Day 30. Okay, the day, right. If a month has 29 days, so it's a Chodesh Chaser. If it's a Chodesh Muberes, it has 30 days. So day 30 is the day, is the critical day, the day that determines whether it's day 1 of the next month or day 30 of the previous month, making it an Ibur, a Chodesh Mu'uber. So the Yom HaIbur is day 30. So again, Elo Omar Rave says Rave, Kiddush B'Yom Ibur, that if you're Mekadesh the new month on the Yom HaIbur on day 30, i.e., it is not a Chodesh Mali, right? Day 30, the Yom HaIbur, you're being Mekadesh the new month on day 30, i.e., day 30 is the first day of the next month, so it's a Chodesh Chaser, Bishlosha. So when it's a Chodesh Chaser, so then you need 3 judges. Achar Ibur, but if it's a Chodesh Malay, then Leka Kiddush, you don't need to say Mekudesh, because Mela, I know, process of elimination. The question is, if it's a Chodesh Chaser, day 30 is the critical day. When we get to the 30th day of the month, it's critical, do we know, okay, is day 30 day 1 of the next month, or is it day 30 of the previous month? So, if Bezdin says Mekudesh on day 30, so Memela, okay, it's the first day of the next month. If they don't say Mekudesh on day 30, I don't need them to say anything the next day. Well, they didn't say anything on day 30, so clearly day 30 was part of the previous month. Okay, obviously, the next day is going to be the first day of the next month. Okay, if it's not 29 days, so Memela, it's 30 days. So you don't need to be Mekadesh, you don't need to do Kiddush HaChodesh when it's a Chodesh Malay according to Rav. Only if you are Mekadesh on Yom HaIbur, only on the 30th day, you have to say, right, because that means day 30 is part of the first day of the next month. If it's a Chodesh Malay, you don't need to do anything. Umani, Rabbi Lazar B'Reb Tzadik, this is the opinion of Rabbi Lazar B'Reb Tzadik, the Tanan that we learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Lazar B'Reb Tzadik Omer, says Rabbi Lazar B'Reb Tzadik, Im lo nira bizmano, ein mekadshinoso, that if you're not mekadesh the new month, bismano being on day 30, because an actual month technically is a little bit more than 29 and a half days, so 29 full days and then half of the next day, i.e. in the middle of day 30. So if it's bismano, on day 30, so then mikadshinoso, so then we have to be mekadesh the chodesh, say mekudesh. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Okay. So now if the moon was not seen on day 30, well then so then there's no need on day 31 to say, okay, this is the first day of the next month. We already know that. That already in Shamayim from the day before, apparently, they already said the next day is going to be Rosh Chodesh. I think the point is, it's already clear that if day 30 wasn't it, so then the next day is going to be the first day of the next month. And you don't need to be Mekadesh it in that way if it's a Chodesh, if the previous month was a Chodesh Malay. So long as you weren't Mekadesh it on day 30, so Mamela, day 31 is the first day of the next month. Okay. Rav Nachman Omer, says Rav Nachman, Kiddush Achar Ibur Bishlosha. So Rav Nachman actually has the opposite opinion, which is when Rosh Chodesh is on day 30, i.e. it's a Chodesh Chaser, then you don't need to be Mekadesh it. You only have to be Mekadesh it when Rosh Chodesh is on day 31, when it's a Chodesh, when the previous month was a Chodesh Malay. B'yom Ibur, where am I? Rav Nachman Omer Kiddush Achar Ibur Bishlosha. So when it's a Chodesh Malay, i.e. when the first day of the next month is day 31, so then Bishlosha, then you need 3 judges. B'yom Ibur, but if it's a Chodesh Chaser, i.e. you're being Mekadesh next month on day 30, well then Leka Kiddush, then there's no Kiddush for a Chodesh Chaser. Umani Plimo, that's the opinion of Plimo. The Tana is within the Brisa. Plimo Omer says Plimo Bismano en Mekadeshin also. That Bismano on day 30 we don't do Kiddush HaChodesh. Rashi says, how come? Where am I? Where's Plimo? Plimo Bismano Mekadeshin also. Shein Tzarich Lasos Chizik L'Davar Shei Bismano Ba. Well, if it came on time, we don't need to do any special chizik to say Mekudesh. It's only Kilu when it comes on day 30. On day 31, where we have to actually say it. Okay, Shlobizmanu Mekadeshin also. So when it doesn't come Bismanu, when it comes out, first day of the next month is day 31, that is when we are Mekadesh the Chodesh, not for Chodesh Chaser, not when Rosh Chodesh is day 30. Rav Ashi Omar says, Rav Ashi, okay, I feel like I might need to switch. We're getting pretty close. Anyways, Rav Ashi Omer says, Rav Ashi La'olam Chishuv Katoni. Oh, says Rav Ashi, really, when we're talking about Me'abin Es HaChodesh B'Shlosha, it means Chishuv. That with 3 judges, we do the calculations to figure out, does this month need to be a Chodesh Mole? That is done with 3 judges. Umay Ibur, what does it mean Ibur HaChodesh is with 3 judges? Chishuv de Ibur, the calculating, the making the cheshboinis of if it should be a Chodesh Chaser or a Chodesh Malay, that is with 3 judges. And because the Mishnah needed to say Ibur Shana with 3 judges, because Ibur Shana, there you actually do need to proclaim this is going to be a leap year, there's going to be an extra other, that proclamation must be made. So therefore, because it says Ibur Shana Bishlosha, so it also has to say Ibur Chodesh Bishlosha, but really Tana Nami Ibur Chodesh, it says Ibur Chodesh, but Chishuv Chodesh in, but it's really referring to the calculations of if it should be a Chodesh Mubaris or not, Kiddush Chodesh Lo, but we are not talking about actually being Mekadesh the Chodesh. Being Mekadesh, meaning Chishuv the Ibur requires 3 judges. Being Mekadesh the Chodesh does not require 3 judges, because you actually are not Mekadesh a Chodesh ever. Money, whose opinion is this? Rabbi Eliezer, it's Rabbi Eliezer's opinion, the Tana that we learned in the Brisa. Well, I'm like mamish racing against the clock. I have like 30 seconds. I might just have to turn it off in a second. The Tana Rabbi Eliezer Omer says, Rabbi Eliezer, Bein Bismano, Bein Shelo Bismano. Whether we're talking about a Chodesh Malay or a Chodesh Chaser makes no difference. Ein Mikadshino. So we are not Mekadesh it. We don't say Mekudesh. Shenem, the pasuk says, V'kidashtem eis shnasa chamishim shono shonim at Mekadesh v'at Mekadesh Chodoshim. The pasuk says, alright, I gotta switch 1 second. So the pasuk says, V'kidashtem eis shnasa chamishim shono. That by Yovel, by the Jubilee year, it says that you have to be Mekadesh the year as the 50th year as the Jubilee year. That is what you're Mekadesh. V'ata, shonim ato Mekadesh. You are Mekadesh years to be the Jubilee year, V'ata Mekadesh Chodoshim, but not months. We're simply not Mekadesh. We don't do Mekudesh for a month. Azoy. Wow. Lots of interesting opinions there when it comes to leap months and stuff. So Shimon Gamliel says this was what? This was for Ibur HaChodesh, Ibur HaShana. What is this? Where am I? Ibur HaChodesh b'Shlosha, Ibur HaShana b'Shlosha, Divrei Meir, Reb Shimon Omer, b'Shlosha maschilin v'chamishin osim v'nosim v'gomim b'Shiva. Wait, is that for, I just assumed that was Ibur HaShana. I think it's Ibur HaShana. Oh, interesting. Is this Ibur HaShana or Ibur HaChodesh? Actually, huh. Labashanazo. Yeah. Oh, it's okay. It sounds like this is okay. So Shimon Gamliel Omer says Shimon Gamliel that you start with 3, and then you move to 5, and then you move to 7 when it comes to Ibur HaShana. So Natani, we learned about Ketzad. I guess question mark. How so? Like, what's the deal with the 3, the 5, the 7? How does that work? So Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says Shimon Gamliel B'Shlosha Maschilin. Well, they start with 3, and they just have an initial sit down to say, hey, what's the deal? Is there actually any chance at all that this is actually going to be a leap year? It might just be so obvious that, like, this is just going to be a regular year. It's not going to be a leap year, in which case it doesn't proceed. So that's the 3. And as we're going to see, if there is an actual, credible possibility that, it could be that this is going to be a leap year, so then they start deliberating with 5. Once they've made a decision that it's going to be a leap year, they then proclaim it a leap year with 7. All right. So when they initially get together with the 3 of them, if one of them says, I think we should look into this, but 2 of them say, no, there's no chance. So then, batal yachol b'miuto. So the one, it loses. But if 2 said, we think that there's a possibility, or it might be a leap year, we should look into it. If one of them says no chance, mosifan aleim od shnaim. Well, the 2 win out, so we add another 2. So we go from 3 to now 5. And then they deliberate, and because as we're going to see, imagine tomorrow, maybe the day afterwards, about there's different scenarios, right? The cheshbonis that they use to determine if the year needs to be a leap year or not. So with 5, they start, doing their deliberations. If 2 say yes, this needs to be a leap year, but 3 say no, it does not, so the 2 lose. If 3 say it needs to be a leap year, 2 say no, well then the 3 win. So so we add another 2, so that now there's 7. That a quorum for proclaiming, I think, the leap year needs to be 7. These 3, 5, 7, what are they like keneged? What do they align with? They arguing about this is Rabbi Yitzchak bar Nachmani and somebody else who was with him. Who's that? Who was with him, I guess? Interesting. One says 3, 5, 7 is keneged birkas kayanim. Yivrecha Hashem v'yishmerecha is 3. Yara Hashem panav elecha v'yichuneka is 5. Yisa Hashem panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom is 7. V'chad Omar, and one says Shlosha keneged shomrei asaf. Okay, the 3 are keneged the guards of the gates in the Beis Hamikdash. Chamisha meroi pnei hamelech. 5 represents those who would see the face of the king. It's a pasuk in Melachim. Shiva roi pnei hamelech. 7 who see the face of the king. That's a Shiva sorry paras umadai roi pnei hamelech hayoshim barishon el malchus from the Megillah, from the first parak of the Megillah. Kidos malasos ba malka vashti. Tani Rav Yosef teaches Hani Shlosha v'chamisha v'shiva Shlosha. Wait, did I just say this? No. So Rav Yosef teaches, well, yes, but no. Rav Yosef teaches in a brisa Hani Shlosha v'chamisha v'shiva Shlosha keneged Tzomrei Asaf, Chamisha me'ro pnei hamelech, Shiva roi pnei hamelech, as we just saw. Omle Abayit Rav Yosef says Abayit Rav Yosef Ado idno my time lo parish lo marachi. Abayit says to his Rebbe Rav Yosef, how come until now you haven't told us this brisa? Omle So Rav Yosef says, "Lo havi yadani d'tzrichisu." I didn't know that you needed me to. After all, if you needed me to tell you, has there ever been an instance where I had to tell you this and I didn't? I didn't realize you need to know this price. That's the only reason why you haven't heard it from me. That's all. Azoy. All right. Oh, gewaldig. Alright, so that was Daf Yud of Masechta Sanhedrin. So we learned that Makis is with 3 judges as a machlekes, right? 3 or 23. We learned the sources of those. And then we started transitioning into, like Iber HaChodesh, Iber HaShana. Yeah, there were all sorts of interesting, positions there. And then, for the next few days now, we're going to continue talking about, like Iber HaShana kind of stuff. Peace out.